Hi, everybody. As you can see, I am at home going live. I am using my laptop, so the camera is in a different place. So I'm not really sure where to look. So, anyways, I want to just say hello to everybody. We're going to keep reading our book today. And before I start, though, I just want to send out answer a couple questions that I've had from parents. Parents have been asking, what about the stuff that we sent home? We sent home some of our students, they got a math book. Some of them got a reading book. What pages they're supposed to do. There are no requirements. Those were just sent home in case you wanted to have fun and do a little extra work, but there are no requirements. There is a choice board that is on Shenandoah County Public Schools webpage. So if you go there, you can look at that board and it gives you some suggested activities for each grade level. But again, those are totally optional. We understand everybody has different abilities of things that they can do at home right now. So those are some activities you can do. If you can't, we understand. But what I would highly recommend is read a little every day and work on your math facts every day, because those are two things that are super important. So with that being said, though, we're going to go ahead and continue to read today. We are on chapter 23. And in case you were wondering, we're getting close to the end of the book. May even finish today. And if we do finish today, I already have another book picked out. So can't wait to tell you about that one. All right. So we're on chapter 23. If you remember, looks like somebody is trying to fix Edward where he got broken. Exceedingly well made, said the man who was running a warm cloth over Edward's face. A work of art, I would say, a surpassingly, unbelievably dirty work of art, but art nonetheless. And dirt can be dealt with, just as your broken head has been dealt with. Edward looked into the eyes of the man. There you are, the man said. I can see that you're listening now. Your head was broken. I fixed it. I brought you back from the world of the dead. My heart, thought Edward, my heart is broken. No need to thank me, the man said. It's just my job, quite literally. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Lucius Clark, doll mender. Your head, may I tell you, will it upset you? Well, I always say the truth must be head on, no pun intended. Your head, young sir, was in 21 pieces. 21 pieces? Edward repeated mindlessly. Lucius Clark nodded. 21, he said. All modesty aside, I must admit that a lesser doll mender, a doll mender without my skills, might not have been able to rescue you. But let's not speak of what might have been. Let us speak instead of what is. You are whole. You have been pulled back from the brink of oblivion by your humble servant, Lucius Clark. And here Lucius Clark put his hand on his chest and bowed deeply over Edward. This was quite a speech to wake up to. Edward lay on his back, trying to absorb it. He was on a wooden table. He was in a room with sunshine pouring in from high windows. His head apparently had been in 21 pieces and now was put back together into one. He was not wearing a red suit. In fact, he had no swinging him through the air. Bryce. You are wondering perhaps about your young friend, said Lucius, the one with the continually running nose. Yes, he brought you here, weeping, begging for my assistance. Put him together again, he said. Put him back together. I told him, I said, young sir, I am a businessman. I can put your rabbit together again for a price. Only two. The first option being that he seek assistance elsewhere. Option 2 was that I would fix you to the very best of my considerable abilities, and then you would become mine. His no longer, but mine. Here Lucius fell silent. He nodded, agreeing with himself. 2 options only, he said. And your friend chose option 2. He gave you up so that you could be healed. Extraordinarily, really. Bryce, thought Edward. Glory. You shall have rabbit for ears and a rabbit for tail. Your whiskers will be repaired and replaced. Your eyes repainted to a bright, stunning blue. You will be clothed in the finest of suits. And then I will recap the return of my investment on you, all in good time. All in good time. In the doll business, we have a saying, there is real time and there is doll time. You, my fine friend, have entered doll time. Chapter 24. And so Edward Tulane was mended, put together again, cleaned and polished, dressed in an elegant suit, and placed on a high shelf for display. From the shelf, Edward could see the whole shop, Lucius Clark's workbench and the windows to the outside world, and the door that customers used to enter and leave. From the shelf, Edward saw Bryce open the door one day and stand in the threshold, the silver harmonica in his left hand, flashing brilliantly in the sunlight flooding in through the window. "Young sir," said Lucius, "I am afraid that we made a deal." "Can't I see him?" asked Bryce. He wiped his hand across his nose, and this gesture filled Edward with a terrible feeling of love and loss. "I just want to look at him." Lucius Clark sighed. "You may look," he said. "You may look, and then you must go and not come back. I cannot have you in my shop every day mooning over what you have lost." "Yes, sir," said Bryce. Lucius sighed again. He got up from his workbench and went to Edward's shelf and picked him up and held him so that Bryce could see him. "Hey, Jangles," said Bryce. "You look good. The last time I seen you, you looked terrible, and your head was busted in and—" "He is put together again," said Lucius, "as I promised you he would be." Bryce nodded. He wiped his hand across his nose. Let's see. Can you see that? This camera is not the best to show you the pictures. "Can I hold him?" he asked. "No," said Lucius. Bryce nodded again. "Tell him goodbye," said Lucius Clark. "He is repaired. He has been saved. Now you must tell him goodbye." "Goodbye," said Bryce. "Don't go," thought Edward. "I won't be able to bear it if you go." "And now you must leave," said Lucius Clark. "Yes, sir," said Bryce. But he stood without moving, looking at Edward. "Go," said Lucius Clark. "Go." "Please," thought Edward, "don't." Bryce turned. He walked through the door of the doll mender's shop. The door closed, the bell tinkled, and Edward was alone. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Actually, we will finish this up tomorrow. We're going to stop there for today, but I'm really anxious to see what happens. I'm kind of curious. I remember reading a fairy tale, and I don't know which one it was, but when I was a kid, about maybe an animal that, maybe it's about the other rabbit story. The Velveteen Rabbit and how he became real at the end of the story. So I'm kind of wondering if that's what's going to happen to Edward. I really kind of hope it is. So, all right, that is all for today. Hope everybody is enjoying themselves at home. And also, I think the weather is supposed to be really nice tomorrow. So tomorrow will be a great day to go outside and play. All right, so long.